Good morning. I am Jamal Eliza Baluma and I will be reporting the Chapter 10 Organization for Sales and Advertising. Objectives: to briefly understand the importance of sales and advertising, to give the different types of marketing functions, and to explain briefly the different kinds of goods. Why sales are important? Sales are said to be the lifeblood of a business. Certainly, without sales, which means orders, a company could not continue in business very long. The continuous primarily depends on the orders that the sales department gets. The only way by which a business can sustain itself year in and year out is by making sales and collecting money from these sales. Selling does not mean merely taking orders. It means taking up possible users of products or services and persuading them to buy. The very importance of selling or the sale department is manifested during periods of depressed business continuous. Then, when it is difficult to get orders to find buyers of the product or service. When business drops off due to a decline of sales, factories closed, workers are laid off, and this persists until business gets better, meaning until the company's salesmen will find it easier to get orders. Sales and marketing. Sales as a department of enterprise is but a manifestation of the bigger business function of marketing. Very often, sales and marketing are used interchangeably. Marketing has been defined as the business activities involved in the flow of goods and services from the point of production to the point of consumption. It is part of the function of marketing to take the goods from the producers and to perform the necessary function to make them available to the consumers what he wants of them, where he wants them, and in the quantities he wants of them. Marketing also develops a demand for goods and then finds the goods which will satisfy the demand. Marketing functions in the marketing of industrial, commercial, and consumers goods, certain inescapable tasks must be performed. These tasks are called marketing functions. These functions are buying, selling, transportation, storage, standardization, finance, risk-taking, and providing of market information. First, buying. This involves a selection of the kind of goods to be bought and the determination of the quality desired as well as proper quantity needed for the specified purpose. The buyer also must select the sources of the goods that he wants. Second, selling. An important characteristic of a capitalistic economy is speculative production, the manufacture of goods before orders for them are received. Manufacturers produce the things that they think consumers will want and then try to sell them. For example, toy manufacturers produce their line of Christmas produced months before the holiday selling season opens. They hope that consumers will like and buy the things they have made. Selling can be divided into three parts. First, personal selling. Second, advertising, which has been called impersonal selling. And lastly, sales promotion, which includes those activities that supplement personal selling and advertising. Transportation. Goods must be transported in most instances from the places where they are produced to the places where they will be consumed. Transportation has a dual duty. Performed goods must be taken to the places where they are wanted when they are wanted. This function involves the use of railroads, waterways, motor trucks, pipelines, and airplanes. Fourth, storage. Storage is another essential marketing function. In many lines of business, goods are produced considerably in advance of the time of sale, and consequently, they must be stored for varying periods of time. The manufacturer, the wholesaler, and the retailer all store goods to some concept. Hence, all of them perform the storage function. Although many business firms have the facilities for storing their own goods, others hire the facilities of storage warehouse companies. Many of these issue warehouse receipts to the stores as evidence of the receipt of a custody over the stored goods. Fifth, standardization. Development and maintenance of standards is of value in helping buyers and sellers to transact business in an intelligent and helpful manner. There may be standard of quantity, such as weights and measures, and container and can sizes, or standards of quality, which are concerned with such differences in goods as grade, substance, variability, and serviceability. 6. Market finance. Handling of an economic good in a capitalistic system calls for a method of financing. The goods are paid for immediately. The buyer must provide the necessary funds, which may be either his own or those that he has borrowed. If payment is postponed, the seller extends credit to the buyer for a period of time and thus temporarily assumes the burden of financing transportation. 7. Market rest. The mere act of owning goods carries within its capable burden of assuming certain rest and connecting with them. This rest arises from the following possibilities. First, the goods may be damaged or destroyed in some manner. Second, They may be deteriorate and become unusable, useless. Third, they may be stolen. Fourth, the price may be moved unfavorably. And lastly, the goods may be rendered obsolete by new inventions or style. When goods are sold on credit, the seller assumes a rust even though he no longer owns the goods because the buyer may not be what he owns. Eighth, market information. If the business hopes to achieve success in the face of the urge competition that is characteristic of many fields, he must have market information upon to base his decisions. This information covers such topics as prices, the extent of the market, location of the market, consumer preferences, the character of the demand, and the condition of supply. Place of sales department in the organization. In manufacturing, mining, transportation, and other similar enterprises, the activity of selling is on a part with other major activities. As earlier stated, it is one of the two most important business functions, the other being manufacturing or production. As such, it should have equal voice in the determination of all major policies related to quality and type of product produced, to methods of distribution, to terms of sales, and to all other activities that exert influence upon sales. The ultimate success of any business depends upon the ability of the business to sell its product or services. The modern business society is a highly competitive one and calls for the exercise of good salesmanship. Success in selling depends a great deal on the quality of the product and the price at which it can be sold at a profit, but many good products properly priced will not have consumers' acceptance because of the faulty sales and management. Effective selling goes hand in hand with the instinctive worth of the good being sold. The sales organization should be developed to meet the specific needs of the enterprise. The organization structure, however, is influenced by many factors, among which are: first, the nature of the product; second, the nature of the market both; third, the marketing plan; fourth, the outgrowth of custom or tradition; fifth, the size of the company and volumes of sales; and lastly, the organizational philosophy of top management. Nature of the product. The company should choose the type of organization best suited to market the product. For instance, industrial producers' goods are often sold direct to the customers or with a minimum of channels of distribution and therefore require a smaller sales organization to distribute the sale volume. Many types of business goods are technical in character. Those require an engineer consultant to sell them. A soft drink may require a big advertising and promotion department. A highly styled item, such as women's ready-to-wear garments, usually calls for the selection of only one or a few distributors in a community, while the sales policy for a branded community is formulated to secure wide distribution. Nature of market sought. The nature of market sought influences the type of a sales organization somewhat in the same manner as does the nature of the product. The market for consumers' goods is a broad one. The market for producers' goods is more restricted. Therefore, a manufacturer who would sell his product in both markets would likely adjust his sales first on a functional basis to meet the various conditions that might arise. High quality and high price items have a limited market. Therefore, the sales organization is built and trained accordingly. However, a company desiring to manufacture products for two distinct markets, the high price and the low price, may have two separate sales organizations. The marketing plan. The plan of marketing is often governed by the nature of the product as well as the market desire, although they are not the only basis of selecting a particular plan. The manufacturer, for instance, may sell the woman's silk history he produces through a combination of the following methods. First, direct to the consumer, either through personal selling or mail orders. Second, through wholesalers or retailers to the consumer. Third, through selling agents. Fourth, through company branches to the retailers. And fifth, any combination of the foregoing. And tradition. Custom or tradition is influential in determining the channel to be used for marketing the product, and the particular channel suggestions certain types of sales organization. Certain companies break with customs and select channels they them best, and which are particularly noticeable in the frequent attempts to feed organization to the capacities of available sales personnel. For example, if the logical sales manager is deficient in certain aspect of his job, as estimating future sales possibilities, although he is a superior as a leader of the sales force. A separate sales research and sales budgeting division may be established. The size of the company. The size of the enterprise and its sales volume have much to do with the organization of the sales force. This small enterprise may have no separate sales, research, advertising, or promotional department, whereas the large enterprises may have these departments attached to the parent organization and may also have similar departments for their respective operating divisions. The philosophy of the management. This factor may likewise influence the sales organization structure. One company, for instance, may be inclined to believe in highly centralized control with all major decisions in relation to credits, advertising, and so forth confined in the home office. On the other hand, another company may follow the practice of promoting decentralized sales activities. Essential functions of selling effort. Making sales does not mean merely taking orders. It means locating more and more possible users of the product or service and persuading them to buy. Selling may be divided into three functions, namely, finding out what people want and need, finding people who want or need it, and 3. Getting orders from them. All these functions are concerned with people as potential customers, all sales efforts with the customer. Some authorities claim that every consideration of business starts with the customers. It is necessary then to find out what the customer wants and give it to him. The other question is, what human need is that is not already satisfactorily supplied? The question implies not that a brand new product must be found, but that if present available products or services that not meet this customer needs, perhaps an improved product or service will do so. In a broader sense, however, selling may take on more diversified activities. In a big marketing organization, the function of selling would be further subdivided into the following function. First, product planning and development. This function finds out what customers want and need. It seeks to satisfy the desires of buyers. It determines the kind, form, style, and quality that goods to be sold should possess. Second, contractual function. This refers to the task of seeking out and locating buyers. When salesmen go from establishment to establishment looking for buyers who may want their goods, they are engaged in this function. Third, demand creation. This is essential to the task of advertising. Selling is not involved merely in satisfying existing needs. It also creates new desires and demand. Fourth, negotiation. The seller must negotiate with the buyer on quality, quantity, shipment, payment, and other incidentals of the sale. There has to be meeting of the demands. Fifth, contractual. The seller transfers title over his goods to the buyer. This is done through a contract, whether verbal or written. Channels of distribution. By channel of distribution are meant the steps by which products are distributed from the producer or manufacturer to the consumers. It refers to the course followed in the transfer of title to goods. In case, however, of enterprises that render services rather than manufacture articles, the product is almost always sold directly to consumers, but for manufacturers, the selection of the proper channels of distribution is very essential. In the flow of goods from a manufacturer to the consumers, the following channels may be used. First, from the manufacturer directly to the consumer, a manufacturer may sell his goods directly through the use of company salesmen, retail outlets owned by the company and selling in only its products, or through mail orders. Second, from the manufacturer to a retailer to final consumer. Items of personal consumption may be sold through this channel. Third, from the manufacturer to the wholesaler to the retailer to the consumer. This channel is usually called the orthodox or normal channel because it is most often used. Groceries, hardware, drugs, and dry goods move to the manufacturer to the consumer in this fashion. Fourth, from the manufacturer to a sales agent, the wholesaler to the retailer, and finally to the consumer. Very often, this channel is lightened further when two or more wholesalers or two or more retailers are involved in the chain. The work of the various channels makes more efficient the marketing function. We may examine the work according to the following paths that the flow of goods may take. Through jobbers. The jobber assembles the product from manufacturers, stores them, and sells them to retailers. In so doing, the jobbers assume risk of price fluctuation, obsolescence, or damage and non-payment of credit extended to customers. The jobber also sorts and ships products according to the retailer's need. Direct to retailer. Direct distribution by manufacturer to the retailers have some distinct advantages, which may be A3 followers. First, the manufacturer is able to ascertain better the consumer's desire through the first-hand contact with the first point of sale, which is the retailer. Second, the manufacturer exercises more control over the final sale of his goods if he has direct contact with the retailer. He builds his own personal relationship and goodwill, and has better opportunity to influence retail prices, displays, and other factors that affect the popularity of his product with the customer or consumer. Third, reduce selling expenses and are affected if goods are sold to retailers rather than jobbers who warehouse the good first and later repack or reship same to the retailer. Direct to consumers. This channel of distribution is needed for the product, which requires a high degree of technical training of salesmen in order to sell it, and when services must be rendered in connection with the product after it is sold. For example, this method is employed with the manufacturer of the office equipment such as typewriters, adding machines, and others, the salesman of which must have ability to operate them in order to able to sell, and to provide repairs and reconditioning after the sale, otherwise the customer may be some dissatisfied. For similar reasons, most industrial equipment is sold directly to users. It is difficult for the jobber or retailer to have men with sufficient training to sell and serve such products satisfactorily. Manufacturers of many types of consumer goods have used the direct-to-consumer method to some degree. For example, manufacturers of such articles as brushes, hosiery, and medicine use the direct-to-consumer method. Through brokers or agent, the broker usually performs only one major function of distribution selling. In contrast with a jobber, the broker or agent usually sells only one type of product. The broker most frequently handles the distribution of products and goods at the same time with the consumer goods but in lesser degree. For example, a broker or agent is used extensively in the distribution of farm products, notably livestock and fresh fruits and vegetables. Kinds of goods. Producers' goods, often called industrial goods, are those goods used in the further production of other goods. Consumers' goods are sold to ultimate consumers for their own use. Producers' goods are divided into, first, raw materials such as iron, ore, lumber, cotton, chemicals, or agricultural products. Second, fabricated parts such as the spare parts used in the assembly of automobiles, radios, refrigerators, and other appliances. Third, equipment such as machinery, conveyors, office equipment, and the like. And fourth, the supplies which are goods needed in the production but which do not enter in the product itself. The market for producers or industrial goods is a concentrated. There is a limited number of buyers, but when they buy one, they do so in large individual purchases. Technical considerations are prone to come in when buyers decide to buy producers' goods. Demand for these goods is derived from the demand of consumers for the goods which are made from producers' goods. Consumers' goods are divided into, first, convenience goods are those that customers want to buy immediately with minimum shopping effort, where the busy customer feels she stands to gain little from making price and quality comparisons. Examples are cigarettes, soup, drugs, newspapers, magazine, chewing gum, candy, and most grocery products. Convenience goods can be further classified into three subtypes, again primarily on the basis of how customers think about products and buy them. These sub-classifications are staples, impulse goods, and emergency goods. Second, shopping goods are those goods for which customers do shop, comparing the price and quality of various brands by shopping in several stores, studying performance evaluation, and reading advertisements. They can be divided into two classifications depending on what customers are seeking: homogeneous and heterogeneous shopping goods. Third, specialty goods are those that customers insist upon finding and search for until they find. Examples include jewelry items, watches, expensive chinaware, automobiles, and evening clothes. Fourth, unsought goods are those items that potential customers don't want yet or don't know they can buy or aren't looking for. Examples include memorial park, cemetery lot, encyclopedia, and etc. Continuous sales research is necessary. Many concerns maintain research bureaus in order to keep abreast of developments in both products and markets. Professional researchers are available for concerns that do not wish to operate their own research department. One of the most important purposes of sales research is to develop new products and improve the old ones. Market research. The study of markets is then another job for sales research. Markets may be actual or potential. An actual market is one in which there is an existing demand which may or may not be supplied at the present time. In any case, the demand is there. A potential market is one in which the demand does not merely exist, considering demand as an expressed desire and not merely as an expressed need. The potential market may offer greater possibility than the actual market, but its development may take longer and cost more. There are 5 directions that may be taken to meet competition, any one or all of which may be necessary, as may be determined by the market studies of the research department. These directions or factors are: first, price, quality, service, terms, and lastly, product. Price, its importance. Commonly, price is expression of market value. It is the amount of money that will purchase the goods or services, and which an article can command in exchange. The consumer's price is the amount of money he must pay for the goods or services. The producer's price, the amount of money he receives for the product price. Price is important to the consumer because the amount of funds at his command must be distributed among the various goods and services he requires or desires. Quality is not all important, but plays an important part in business and in competition. Quality for quality, other things being equal, the low price is more attractive than the high price. In case the materials or goods are purchased for resale, the price has a definite bearing on the cost of which the resale price will be figured. What is quality? Quality is considered more important than price, especially when buying to specifications. The term quality, however, has been rather misused. The term quality goods does not mean what many consumers think it means, for quality exists in different levels. Relations of quality, price, and service. Quality and price are powerful factors in meeting competition, but they must be supplement each other to wholly effective. It is difficult to convince satisfied customers that a competing product is as good as established one. A lower price may create suspicion of a lower quality. A new manufacturer or producer employs other methods in breaking into establishment market, and one effective method is rendering superior service. For example, the soft drink companies, the Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola companies, to boost up their sales, extend free and timely delivery and the use of small box colors to those who buy the company's products. Very often, car owners patronize gasoline station because of the service and not the brand of the gasoline sold. Terms. Terms is the fourth factor considered in competition. Though it is not important as price, quality, and service, terms refer to the time allowed to customers for paying bills and includes also cash and trade discounts. A cash discount, for instance, is a deduction usually from 2% to 10% granted for paying bills within a given time, which varies from 10 to 90 days or more, depending on the industry. Trade discount is the deduction allowed to the trade by manufacturer to a wholesaler or a dealer or another wholesaler. It is a simple way of adjusting price. Sales planning and sales promotion. If the effective direction of the sales effort of an enterprise requires careful planning or routine operations, special attention to promotional work, dynamic leadership in the entire program. To effect the conceived planning, the following are required. First, qualified personnel force. Second, special approach. Third, study of markets and territory. Personnel forces. The very first one to be mentioned in the sales manager who must possess the desired characteristics to undertake the work mentioned above. He is responsible for the hiring of qualified persons to perform each function. For instance, in the case of planning of sales quotas, forecasting regional possibilities, and handling of multitude of data necessary for the smooth operation, personnel of high-level qualifications are needed. Special approach. Sales promotion also require a special approach which includes constructive imagination if it is to be truly creative and not merely a repetition of previous efforts. Study of markets and territories. Sales planning involves the study of markets and territories. It requires an analysis of past results, trends in industry, and a consideration of general business conditions. The field sales force. The supervision of the field sales force is such an important aspect of sales management that it deserves special mention. A sales organization in the field may be divided according to the geographical basis. The Philippine market may be divided into the Northern Luzon region, Southern Luzon region, Visayan region, and Mindanao Palawan Sulu region. Our region in turn may be divided into districts such as the Leyte Samar district, Cebu Bohol district, and the Negros district. The district may be further divided into the field office, each with a staff of salesmen. Advertising. Advertising is defined as any paid form of non-personal presentation and promotion of ideas, goods, or services by an identified sponsor. Definition involves four key elements. First, paid form. Second, non-personal presentation. Third, ideas and services as well as goods. And lastly, an identified sponsor. Advertising is an integral factor in modern merchandising. Its motive is to create demand for particular products or service. Advertising specifically strives to present the item advertised in a favorable light. For instance, advertising carried by the trade association seeks to further foster the demand for the product of the industry represented by the association. Advertising is attributed to have certain specific purposes. The primary purpose is to bring the company and its products quickly and favorable to the attention of the consumers who may not be reached by the salesmen in a reasonable short time. The secondary purpose is to pave the way for salesmen, and the third purpose is to create goodwill toward the company. The advertising department. The advertising department is usually a division of the sales department in a manufacturing enterprise, in which case the advertising manager is responsible to the sales manager. It is essential that an aid to selling and it's part of the selling function. In some cases where the major selling effort is built around advertising, the sales department and the advertising department are separate, both reporting the general manager on the same level as in the case of organization for a large department stores. Purpose of advertising. The study of business shows that advertising is used for numerous purposes. Some companies, however, have not given adequate though the question of exactly what they are trying to accomplish with their advertising. Among the purposes of advertising that may be mentioned are the following. First, bringing customers to the place where goods are sold. Second, persuading customers to ask for a specific product. Third, to assess salesmen in making sales upon calling in the customers. And lastly, building institutional goodwill. Customers to the place where goods are sold. Retail stores frequently use advertising for this purpose. The display of merchandise and the efforts of the salesman play important parts in the closing of transactions. The store tries to sell substantial quantities of the merchandise advertised to get customers into the stores and to develop the habit of coming for the subsequent requirements. Building institutional goodwill. Particularly, advertising is expected to build goodwill to some degree, but in some cases, this may be primarily objective. Telephone companies make use of other advertising for this purpose. Small loan companies, for instance, have distributed a large number of pamphlets guiding housewives the selection of merchandise and intelligent expenditures on a limited income. The primary purpose of the distribution of these pamphlets in the development of goodwill toward the company. I will end my report by saying there are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and failure by Colleen Powell. Thank you and God bless you.